What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is the SledgeHammer Wrestling Show's SmackDown Live review for January the 3rd, 2017. Our first SmackDown Live review of the year, and what a great show it was to watch. My goodness, I love myself some Tuesday night, because that's when I get myself some real good wrestling to watch. SmackDown had its hiccups tonight. Was not a perfect show, was not flawless by any means. But I want to start off with what we're going to see over the next couple of months is the rise of Baron Corbin. It's started slowly, but it's definitely happening. And I'm getting some video issue warnings here. If you're having issues watching this video, please let me know in the chat so we can try to remedy that. We're getting some low output to YouTube. I don't know why that's happening again tonight, but hopefully everything keeps going on and you guys aren't having any issues. Please feel free to use that chat room as a forum to discuss things amongst yourselves while you're in here. And don't forget, if you feel the kindness in your heart to donate to the show. My hat's fucking crooked. It's driving me crazy here. Look at this. Alright, that's better. I look like a schlub before that. So, Ronnie S. in the chat room, my loyal, every single time I go live, there's my buddy with me. What's up, my man? Who do I think La Luchadora is? I'm pretty sure it's Deonna Purrazzo. I know that they don't really match up if you put their pictures side by side, but they're probably doing that intentionally. It's kind of been spread throughout the internet, if you look at some of the reports and stuff, that it's her that we've been seeing. It's not clear if she's just a placeholder right now, and that eventually La Luchadora will maybe be Mickie James. There's been talk of that. But I loved what they did tonight with La Luchadora. I loved that they pulled the bait and switch, and we had two La Luchadoras. As often masked superstars, we often have trickery and the what they call twin magic for the Bella Twins. And everybody unaware that there was a second La Luchadora underneath the ring during Becky Lynch's one-on-one match to get revenge on La Luchadora. That's kind of fun to say, La Luchadora. It's a little bit of a tongue-tire. I don't know what this alliance is about, but I'm sure it will come to pass in the next couple of weeks. You know, if it is Deonna Purrazzo, it's an obvious alliance that they could do from NXT. You know, maybe they knew each other down there. Mickie James, what would be the reason for her helping Alexa Bliss? I don't know. That would be a good question. That would also lead people to believe Mickie James is going to come in as a heel, which I don't believe that's going to be the case. She's going to get too much of a pop to be a heel. And more likely the scenario is maybe Becky Lynch would be turned heel, but they don't need to turn anybody heel. I think Alexa Bliss has got that heel mantle firmly in her grasp, and that there's nobody else on the show right now. Maybe Natty. You know, I liked Bitch Natty tonight. She looked really good, and she was very good on the mic for once. She was not as cringy as she was. Nikki Bella actually looked like the weaker of the two performers in their segment, which I at first thought was unnecessary, but being that it's leading up into and promoting the matchup that they're going to have next week on SmackDown, you know, I can't complain about them not having build-up and then complain about the build-up. You know, I have to pick and choose where I'm going to complain. So, you know, I was glad that they're sticking with this angle. I don't really like Natty versus Nikki. And I think it's because I'm a sucker for reality television, as I've said on this show many times, and my wife and I enjoy Total Divas and Total Bellas. I like seeing backstage stuff. I love knowing the ins and outs of the business. And I know that it's scripted. I'm not an idiot. Wrestling is scripted. And I love that too. So obviously it's not going to bother me when a reality show is scripted, but there are still aspects of the business that you're seeing going on in and around the drama. I'm often looking behind the Total Divas when they're backstage to see who I can catch a glimpse of in camera that probably is not supposed to be there. You know, so it doesn't bother me that any of this stuff is, you know, made more dramatic, as they do, because that's a reality show tactic. But yes, she did look great, as Nikki Bella always does. But she just seemed a little uncomfortable on the mic. And what she said was good. I loved everything she had to say. She just didn't feel... It looked like she didn't feel comfortable saying it. Like she didn't want to be mean to Natty. But she was being mean to her because she had to be. Not because she wanted to be. So it felt a little But no complaints really. You know, you can't complain when they're actually using their women. And more than just two. You know, we've seen 3 women on the show tonight. I was upset that we didn't see Naomi. I love the entrance. I love watching the glow get jiggling all the way down the aisleway there. But we didn't see her tonight. I don't know what's going on with that. We had some really good wrestling, though, tonight. The show started off... Well, they started off with The Miz, who's been absolutely fantastic. And this continued on throughout this night and on into Talking Smack again. I don't know if you watched Talking Smack tonight after the show. I decided to go on with this show after Talking Smack, as last week we didn't really get very many viewers. And as of right now, it doesn't look like it really matters what time I do it. I just have to get some better promotion out there. I shared it everywhere, but my stats say that I only have 2 people watching right now. But oftentimes when I sign off, it'll say that there were 8, 9, 13, which is why I encourage everybody to use the chat and say hi to Ronnie if you're here. Say hi to me in the chat room. Use it up. This way I actually know how many people are watching, because I cannot rely on the numbers that I'm seeing here. We had The Miz in a microphone altercation, as always, and he's just fantastic. On Talking Smack, he started the whole segment. First of all, they're like 2 minutes from going off the air, and he just bursts on set and just is leaning forward and grilling, shooting the daggers through the eyes to Renee Young. And then they start arguing, and then The Miz goes off again. He's not that good of an actor. So a lot of this stuff that he's saying is coming from a very real place, which is what's making everything that The Miz is doing absolute fucking magic. And this night would be the first night in a very long time that I found myself being a fan of The Miz again, and actually pulling for The Miz to retain his Intercontinental Championship match title in the match tonight against Dean Ambrose. And what a match that was. These two guys put on a fantastic main event. The Miz, like I said, continues his excellent in-ring performance to go side by side with his microphone skills. Dean Ambrose, I want to tread lightly here because I don't want anybody thinking the wrong thing. I like Dean Ambrose. He was my favorite member of The Shield. He was my favorite to break out of The Shield. But since the brand split, something has happened to Dean Ambrose. And I don't know what it is. And I know it has nothing to do with the fact that he's in a relationship with Renee Young. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's not on Raw anymore. In fact, if he was on Raw, he'd probably be worse. There's just something off. And it's not the lunatic fringe off that they want us to believe. I think that for some reason, Dean Ambrose is not comfortable in his position. Maybe he sees himself on a higher level than management sees him, so he's holding back. I don't know. But I did not agree with the decision to put the Intercontinental Championship back around the waist of Dean Ambrose. The Miz has been killing it. Absolutely killing it. There is zero reason why he should have lost that belt tonight on the first episode of SmackDown. Why not prolong it, let it lead to a match at the Royal Rumble? It's a cross-branded pay-per-view. The Intercontinental title should be showcased in its own match. That's a good point. Ellsworth did kind of kill his momentum, but it was already kind of dying before the whole Ellsworth thing kind of started up. Ever since the brand split. And he was already the World Heavyweight Champion. And he was the number one pick for SmackDown Live. And it just, since then, hasn't taken off the way that they've wanted it to. Excuse me, I'm still just a little bit sick. I feel a little bit better, which is why I have a little more energy. Plus, SmackDown definitely was an upper, unlike Raw being a downer last night. And in my sick misery, just barely had any energy and was just absolutely a miserable show. I hated my show last night. But and to top it all off, I had my first fucking troll. Are you kidding me? On a night where I feel like shit, I barely am holding my stuff together, and that's the night I get some guy in the chat room cursing up a storm, saying all kinds of stupid shit, and I have to go and block this jerk off. And then once I blocked him, once I figured it out, I never had to do it before, so I had to figure it out. I lost my momentum. I was just totally shot for that show. And this show is teetering on going off the rails as I'm opening up sodas and not sipping them, because I'm still a little wonky and a little medicated, if I'm being honest. But Ellsworth killing his momentum, yes, definitely did not help, definitely made it worse for Dean Ambrose, but we'll have to see where this goes. I don't know if this is going to lead to The Miz winning it back again. I don't like the hot potato title thing. I was hoping that The Miz was going to hold it for a little while longer, at least up until the Royal Rumble. Give him some definitive and real momentum instead of this. What they keep doing with him is build him up and then take the belt, and then build him back up, and then he'll take the belt away again, and then he'll win it back and they'll build him back up, and he's been the most consistent guy on the entire roster, really, since the brand split. And I don't agree with this, with his losing the Intercontinental Championship tonight. Hopefully it's going to go somewhere better, possibly around the waist of Baron Corbin, because as we started off this show saying, the rise of Baron Corbin is inevitable. This guy, between the match last week and what we've seen from him this week, is absolutely fantastic. When they got into the ring, I was not anticipating in a good way this match between Dolph and Baron Corbin. We've seen it before. It wasn't that great. But we're talking about two premier athletes, two world-class talents, and they definitely stole the show tonight. That match, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, had me on the edge of my seat towards the end. I wasn't sure who was going to win. My inner wrestling fan wanted Baron Corbin, but my brain said they're going to give this to Ziggler, the more established guy, leading into this big Royal Rumble going on. They want to give these guys momentum, and they gave it to Baron Corbin instead. I was very impressed. He had a career-making match tonight. Absolutely incredible. 100% on board the Baron Corbin train. I always was. His mic work is still a little stale and a little bland, but he's getting there, and he's going to be there real soon. He's another one that tonight he showed up on Talking Smack. You know, he's got a big match now next week coming up against John Cena. That's a match that's going to be make or break for him. And don't expect him to win this match. I don't. But I don't expect him to lose cleanly. I hope that there's some kind of trickery going on. It's just... it's bubbling. He's right on the cusp of becoming the next big guy. And I don't mean big because he's big. I mean big as in character. He's going to break out. This is going to be the year of Baron Corbin. He said it himself. He's not afraid of John Cena. He knows it's not going to be easy, but he's going to kick his ass because he is the new and John Cena is the old. And I'm all for it. I can't wait to see this match next week. SmackDown again by the end of Tuesday night got me anticipating next Tuesday, where Raw, I don't even want it to be Monday anymore. I wish that Monday night didn't exist, which hurts me to say. After 35 years of watching professional wrestling, and after 20 years of Monday Night Raw, I don't even want to watch it anymore. They have some of the best talent in the world, and I don't care about anything that they're doing on the Red brand. And then when it comes to Tuesday night, we get wrestling. We get 2 hours, well fit, a well put together package. The only thing hiccup-wise I want to say tonight is the tag team match for American Alpha. Now, Breezango, or the Fashion Police, whatever you want to call them, were already in the ring. They weren't even allowed an entrance. And this is one of the better tag teams that you have put together since the brand split. Why you are wasting Breezango is beyond me. But I'm not going to get too down on the SmackDown tag division because it sucks. All the divisions suck, hands down. If you just look at it, there's not enough teams in any division. There's not enough women in any division. There's not enough cruiserweights in the cruiserweight division. They have their own show, and we only see the same 6 to 8 of them every fucking week. We still see T.J. Perkins and Brian Kendrick. See the same people over and over. The divisions are shit. But you need to work with what you have. And I know that, we're going to end this show with what happened in the contract signing. And that happened in the middle of the show at the 9 o'clock hour. And I can almost guarantee you that segment went over by at least 10 minutes. Because I don't think, or at least I hope, that they didn't book a 20-minute promo segment and then a 2-minute tag title match. I don't even know if it was for the title. Even if it was just a regular tag match, to squash the Breezango Fashion Police in like 20 seconds is unacceptable. Not when you have no teams that are even viable contenders for your tag team titles. Why you're not building up teams separately? Why didn't American Alpha come out, have a nice little interview segment or a celebration of some sort that the Wyatts could have interrupted and made their challenge for next week? And then have an actual tag team match maybe between Breezango and, I don't know, the Ascension, the Vaudevillains. What, the Hype Bros are hurt, Zack Ryder's down, you don't know what to do? Your only other good guy tag team is down? So you can't take the Ascension and put them up against Breezango to see who's the new number 1 contender? Something like that? Come on. So that's my one complaint about SmackDown. However, I'm looking very forward to seeing this rematch for the World Tag Team titles next week between the Wyatt family. I don't know which two members of the Wyatt family it will be. They did not specify, and we won't probably know until match time next week. Something that I thought was interesting was after the Wyatts popped up on screen and Bray Wyatt told American Alpha, "You haven't really won anything yet, and we're coming back for what's rightfully ours." And then Bray Wyatt walks off screen. Luke Harper begins to come forward to say his signature, "Run." But it is interrupted by the Viper slithering his way in front of him and beat him to the punch, saying "Run," and finishing the Wyatt promo. But the best part of it was, as Randy's saying it, you see Luke Harper's face like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he was pissed. So we have seen the beginning of the end of this incarnation of the Wyatt family. I was hoping they were going to hold off on some of this, unless they really play with it and continue doing this shit back and forth up until the big payoff for WrestleMania or something like that. I don't know. But the Wyatts and American Alpha next week should be quite interesting. And I expect American Alpha to retain. And we'll probably see some more shenanigans between Randy Orton and Luke Harper. Bray Wyatt's going to lose control. They are an absolute fantastic team together. Randy Orton fits in there absolutely fucking perfectly. I was against it when it happened, but I'm all for it now. And of course, they're going to take it away. Much like what I said with The Miz. You know, I was angry when he first won the Intercontinental title, and he, above all else, has made the Intercontinental title something fantastic, something worth watching. Must-see TV. That was his moniker for the longest time, and he's definitely putting it to the test and living it to a T. What else did we have tonight? Am I forgetting anything, or is that it? I feel like I'm forgetting something. What else did we have tonight? Let me see here. Try to pull up my notes. Yeah, of course, now my phone will freeze on me. Fantastic. Okay, let's try that again. Favorite part of the show tonight, hands down, was the interaction between AJ Styles and John Cena. And once again, when this was over, we would have Baron Corbin come out and involve himself in this whole scenario. But before this would happen, we had some of the greatest mic work I've seen from John Cena in a long time. And I am no John Cena fanboy. Anybody that knows me knows that. He has been the bane of my existence way before there was ever a Roman Reigns. And part of the reason I don't like Roman Reigns is because I've been subjected to a person like John Cena for 15 years. And I don't want to go through that again. I want to see the people that I want to see. I don't want to see the people that you think I want to see. Because this guy right here is what you thought I've wanted to see for the last 5 years. And this fan, in particular, would have much rather have seen CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, even Sheamus at some point, Rusev. These guys should have all taken precedent and have all been built properly to be the one to take down this guy and be the next face of the company and bring it to bigger and better places. Hell, even Randy Orton or Kofi Kingston or any of these guys from the early to mid 2000s who just were completely overshadowed by the guy that nobody can see but was fucking everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Kurt Angle left the company, Brock Lesnar left the company, Bill Goldberg left the company. Vince McMahon was in dire straits. He had only The Undertaker. Shawn was still gone, I think, or had just finished his one comeback and left again. Who did he have? He had this young kid. He had a bunch of young kids. And this is the one that made gold for Vince McMahon. They want to say, yeah, he sold the most merchandise. And I could believe that because he's been on top for 15 years. But he's never going to be the wrestling fan's wrestler. He's going to be in that light of a Hulk Hogan and The Rock and Roman Reigns. These guys that are not great in the ring, but have a particular look. And at least in the first three scenarios, Hogan and The Rock and Cena, these guys had charisma. These guys can talk and talk and talk your money right out of your pocket. And there was nobody better than these three. But in the ring, there is nobody better, at least right now, than AJ Styles, the modern day coming of Shawn Michaels. This is the guy that accentuates absolutely everything that a wrestling fan loves about wrestling. His moves, his tweaks, his facials, his promos. AJ Styles is fantastic beyond the abilities of almost everybody on that roster. He knows it. Vince knows it. But this is Vince's cash cow. He's one win away from tying Ric Flair's record for 16 world championships. You think they're not going to give it to him? I don't think they're going to give it to him at the Royal Rumble. I really don't. I think the build and this contract signing was absolutely fantastic. John Cena didn't say a fucking word for about the first 10 minutes of this show. And AJ Styles would just go on a tear and pretty much say everything that I just said. You know, you are the man. You sell t-shirts and you go here and you go there. You do what the company says. I do what the people want. You're a company guy. I'm a wrestling guy. That's pretty much the message AJ Styles was sending. And John Cena would take umbrage with this, of course. But he seemed to be keeping his cool, and he was just letting AJ go on and on and on and on and on. And then AJ would apparently step over the line when he brings up the fact that, you know, you're gone for 4 months and you coming back getting a title match is only because your brother-in-law is the general manager of SmackDown. And after this, a little fire lights up in old Cena's eyes, gets up and gets intense. Starts telling AJ Styles that the reason he's still here is because of punks like him, who think I'm already gone, who think that I don't care, who think that I'm a part-timer. And I'm doing absolutely no justice to it because John Cena killed this promo. Once again, he is walking a very fine line between the John Cena of today and the John Cena back in the day, who was more mean and didn't care so much about public opinion and wasn't afraid to tear somebody down. And he was ready to tear AJ apart physically, but he definitely did it verbally. Just tore AJ Styles a new asshole. Pretty much telling him that I didn't ever go anywhere, so why did you think I was gone? Just because I put my fucking headband down. Like, I took my headband off. I left it here as a souvenir. What? That didn't mean I was done. You think just because I'm doing TV shows, I'm done? You think because I'm hosting Saturday Night Live, I'm done? You think because I'm doing other things to put money in my pocket, I'm done? To get the word out about WWE, I'm done? No. He's obviously not done. And he fired up and got ready to kick AJ Styles' ass. When Baron Corbin's music would hit and the Lone Wolf approached the ring, got in there, got in Cena's face, and Cena's like, I don't care, I'm here, I'm ready to fight. You want to fight? I want to fight. I'll fight you right now. Baron Corbin's like, watch how you talk to me, or I'm going to knock your teeth down your throat. John Cena's like, well, let's do this then, and gets kicked in the back of the head, blindsided by AJ Styles, left laying on the mat, Baron Corbin looking over him, telling him, your time is up. Fantastic show. Baron Corbin, by far, was the star of this show, much like Braun Strowman was the star last night, but I would much rather be a star on the blue brand than a star on the red brand any day right now. Again, not a perfect show. You know, a few little hiccups. The whole Carmella and James Ellsworth thing is definitely leading to something else. But I can't imagine what it is. I mean, we've seen what his purpose is going to be tonight. She had this match with Aaliyah. Why use Aaliyah for filler when you have so many other women? Especially in a match where she's going to cheat to win. You could have put anybody in there. We didn't see fucking Naomi, but we saw Aaliyah. Why? What the fuck are they doing? Why are they just bringing up random people, exposing us to them, letting us know they're from NXT because you put it in the bump on the screen? NXT Aaliyah versus Carmella SmackDown. Who cares? Nobody knows who the fuck Aaliyah is in that arena, and you could tell. This girl did a good job. She did a great match. She had some good spots. Nobody cared. Just like 205 Live. 205 Live after SmackDown. I'm watching this thing. Tajiri comes out. Fucking Tajiri, the Japanese buzzsaw, wrestling legend. WWE future Hall of Famer. Former Cruiserweight Champion. Former Tag Team Champion. Well known in the universe. Made his debut tonight on 205 Live to the sound of fucking crickets. Because the fat little kid in the front row has no idea who Tajiri is. And nor does he care. Because he didn't watch the CWC to even have his memory refreshed on who this guy is. Absolutely terrible crowd. In Florida, no less. Jacksonville, Florida. Where NXT is based in Orlando. Okay, how do you not have a hot NXT crowd in a Florida fucking town? I don't understand. 205 Live's crowd sucked. And it's not just because half of them probably left. You saw the empty spots in the arena, because once SmackDown's over, all these families want to go home. There's kids that got school tomorrow. These people got work. Like, you know, you and I got work. 205 Live is being wasted by being put on between 10 and 11 on Tuesday nights to a live crowd. To us at home, there's no effect. Because, first of all, we're being led in by good wrestling being put on SmackDown. And then we switch over to the network and we get great wrestling on 205 Live. But the atmosphere kills the show. The wrestling is fucking fantastic. 100% top notch. But the crowd's asleep. So it feels lackluster. It feels, when you're watching, almost like it feels boring to you as a viewer, because the crowd doesn't care, so why should I care? But my eyes and my mind, my wrestling mind, we care. We're watching, and instead I'm going, what's wrong with this crowd. At least they got into it a little bit with Jack Gallagher, and they started to react to the main event a little bit when Neville and TJ Perkins started to really get hot. It was a great match, and the remaining fans in attendance started to take notice at the end of the show. And the rest of the wrestling throughout the show was fantastic too. We had a great match with Noam Dar, with Tajiri versus Sean Maluda. Quality fucking matches. Jack Gallagher versus Tony Nese. Tony the Beast Nese. That should be his fucking name, because this guy is phenomenal. He looks like a midget, a jacked up midget. And I know that doesn't sound intimidating to you, but he's small, man. He's 190 pounds. He weighs 20 pounds less than me. He looks like he could crush me. That's how jacked he is. It's an absolutely unbelievable night on 205 Live. Totally being wasted on a 10 o'clock crowd. 10 to 11 on Monday night is the worst hour. Always. And I've been to Raw. Especially after it went to 3 hours. I've been to a Raw. After that second hour, if you're not giving me the best of the best, I want to go home. And I'm a fucking wrestling guy. But, you got to take into consideration, you got to beat the crowd. You're in there with 20, 30,000 fans with you. You all got to get to your car and get out, or get to the train, bus, however you get there. So a lot of people like to head out before the show kind of is over. You've seen who you want to see. You don't really need to see the end. Most parents, anyway, will be like, all right, we've seen everything, let's go. SmackDown's over, let's go. I got work tomorrow. We still got to let the dog out. We got to take out the garbage. Whatever the fuck we got to do, we got to go. And 205 Live is suffering from it. I think it would be much better if they would have just called it 205, which I don't even like 205 Live. It's a stupid name. But you would have been better off calling it 205, filming it at Full Sail, the home of NXT, where it would feel as important as it actually is. And it's not being viewed as an important show. And it really is an important show in the landscape of all of wrestling. But it's getting lost to dead crowds and people going home because they just don't care. If they're not subscribed to the network, they're not watching the show. And most of the people in the crowd are not hardcore fans like us, but the casual fans and the parents of the little kid who loves the one guy, who loves Roman Reigns, or he loves John Cena. So mom and dad bought the tickets, and now the two of them are sitting there on their phone while little fat Jimmy's on the 8th thing. Hey, Roman Reigns is here. John Cena. This is what we have to deal with. So that's pretty much it. Great night of wrestling. Again, another lackluster crowd. Even during the SmackDown show, these guys in Jacksonville, Florida, just kind of sleeping. Even through some of the great stuff that I was watching. And Talking Smack, again, very good. Tuesday night from start to finish from the WWE. Always a good time. Just like I always have a good time when I'm sitting here on YouTube. Even if it's just you and me, Ronnie, I don't care. It's good enough for me. If I can get one person to interact with, that's more than enough for me, because at least I'm not here alone talking to myself like a lunatic or a lunatic fringe. And that's going to do it for the SmackDown review tonight. I don't know when I'll be back on during the week. Hopefully we'll get a Nightmare Room going up this weekend. I'm thinking about possibly doing a NXT review, because I haven't watched NXT the last couple of weeks, and maybe I'll just do one big NXT show, or just keep your eyes peeled to the channel for any new stuff that I might have coming up there. I'm working on a video with my WWE live content from when I went to the show last week at the Barclays Center. I got some cool little videos and pictures, and I'm going to try to edit that into a nice little video and put it up there so you guys can see what's going on. And, you know, I made this point. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to wrap it up. I made this point on, I don't know if it was last night's video for Raw or if it was my Nightmare Room show over the weekend. But, shit, I just absolutely forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, they should definitely bring back Raw Talk. Because why would I want more TV on Monday night that I can't stand watching? That was sarcasm. I'm sorry, Ryan. Anyway, what point was I trying to make just now? I actually remembered it, and then I read your comment, and now I fucking forgot it again. Holy shit. Oh, I just remembered. Normally at a house show, like when I went to the Barclays Center, you're going to see things that are a sign of things to come. And it's almost like practice, like wrestling practice. And they practice angles, and they see how the crowd reacts. And I wanted to believe that when I went to this house show, I was going to see something different. But it was a Raw house show. So what I got was more of the same. We got Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins. You know, that foursome just mix and match every week. Because that's what we do on Raw. It's going to be one or the other versus the other one. Or the two versus the two. Or now Jericho's going to be in the cage. But it's all that foursome. And I saw the same shit. But there was not as much bullshit. There was no Stephanie McMahon. There was no Mick Foley. And it was absolutely 110% better than an episode of Monday Night Raw. I was there for 3 hours. We got there at 7:30. Show was almost over at 11. So it's a nice amount of time to spend there. We had a 15-minute intermission. But what did we see? We saw Cesaro and Sheamus versus Gallows and Anderson in the New Day. And then we had a segment with Enzo and Cass and Rusev. Like it was like Raw Live. But without all the other bullshit, it was tolerable because we actually got to see, what is it? Wrestling. That's right. Fucking wrestling we got to watch. So it was fantastic. We're going to put together that little show. Sorry for the little brain fart in the middle there. You know, I just, sometimes when I go off and I try to explain things, I forget that we were starting at point A. And, you know, I go off to point B and C, and then we never finish point A. So if you've experienced that from me before, then you know what I'm talking about, and I'm sorry. But that's just the way it is sometimes. And on that note, we are going to sign off. We are going to have a good night, and so are you. Because Tuesday nights are awesome, and I love blue. My blood bleeds blue. SmackDown is blue. And so is my boy, Blue, the Snowball Microphone. Always here, especially happy on Tuesday nights, because blue is the way to go. And I know that doesn't rhyme, and I'll think of something better than that for next time, I promise. Because I'm starting to feel a lot better, and I'm going to be 100% on the next broadcast. Thank you very much, everybody. Don't forget to bang on that thumbs up. I'm Nick Nightmare. This is Blue. We love you guys. Have a great night, man.